We're back here on the Fowler Show. We're here with my good friend, Earl Folks, the chair of the DNC LGBT Caucus. Or it's just LGBT, there's no Q.
There's no Q.
No Q. LGBT Caucus. Welcome to the show, Earl.
Thank you.
So you guys had a caucus meeting today. You guys will meet again.
On Thursday, that's correct.
The caucus meeting will meet again on Thursday. Hillary Clinton will walk out of this convention on Thursday night with the nomination. What's next?
Getting her elected.
And how do you do it?
Well, we use a grassroots strategy that got President Obama elected 2008 and 2012, and reaching out to people, knocking on doors. The old-fashioned, you can have all these computers and social media, but you have to knock on doors and get people and talk to people, and that's what's going to happen. And people, when we compare the choices, people, some may be reluctant, but they're going to have to vote for Hillary.
So, but that have to, Earl, that's a strong word. There's a lot of, just a couple of feet from here is the convention hall. And at that convention hall, there's a lot of Bernie folks who are Bernie or bust. They feel as though they've been left out of the process. How does the Hillary Clinton campaign bridge the gap to those people?
It's going to take time. I supported her in 08. And there was a lot of friction between Hillary people and Obama people, and they left a lot of bad feeling. Even to this day, there's still some bad feeling. But you know what? I went to the convention in 08. I went to Denver. I heard Senator Obama speak. I got to know him a little better and hear him what he had to say. And eventually, I realized that I have to vote for President Obama, Senator Obama. He became president. And people, there's some people in the Bernie camp who are not going to be swayed because they're not really bedrock Democrats. They're swept up in the Bernie personalities and his dream for a different country, but they're not political people in the true sense of the word. So we have a lot of people who are in this arena who aren't even practicing decorum. They're booing.
No, so
they're hissing.
I get that, and don't get me wrong. I don't think anybody should hiss or boo. But the sense is, whether or not they're part of the bedrock of the Democratic Party, for her to win this campaign, she needs some non-bedrock folks to turn out.
She will, but she also needs independents and other. She needs to excite the base. Some of the Bernie people are the base, some are not. And some she's not going to, you don't waste a lot of capital trying to convince people who are not going to be convinced. The reality is, if she turns out the communities of color, she turns out LGBT people, she turns out women, she's going to win this election, just like Obama did.
So talking about LGBTQ people, so this, I want to say yesterday, or some depending on when folks are watching this, in this convention, we saw the first transgendered individual speak before this convention hall. How'd that make you feel?
Sarah, but first of all, I know her. She is a person that, transgender or not, I love her, respect her, because she's smart, she's articulate, she's poised. She's the next generation of elected officials in this country. And I've seen her mature. First of all, she's a great, she didn't have to mature a whole lot. But I've seen her grow into this, and she is really someone who represents our community, all the best parts of our community. I'm very excited, I'm very proud of her.
So, and beyond her, you also saw Jason Collins speak yesterday. There was an LGBTQ reverend that gave the benediction last night. So clearly, this campaign is working really hard, and this convention worked really hard to bridge the gap and sort of showcase the best of the LGBTQ community.
That's correct.
And you're the chair of the caucus. Were you a part of that, putting that together?
You have influence. I'm sort of the vetting person. Is this person good? Is this person, if they're safe? Because everyone has to be vetted, and I was part of the vetting part of the vetting process. And the reality is that people are going to check with me because I'm not the only LGBT person in the campaign or in the party, but I'm one of the ones that people have a respect for. So respect my opinion.
And what's the next step? So what's the next step for this caucus? What's the next step for this party? How do they sort of continue to broaden and open up?
The Equality Act. The Equality Act. We have to get the Equality Act passed. We have to end discrimination towards all LGBT people, no matter where they live in this country. So it's great you have equality in New York or California, but you need to have it in Texas and North Dakota as well. And if the party's able to bring that to pass, we will have the LGBT population locked up as Democrats for a generation.
So what do you say? There is a group out there called, like Gays for Trump. What do you think about them?
I think they're delusional. because Trump is going to Trump. I don't believe in my heart that Trump is homophobic. I do believe he's surrounded himself with people who are, and I think that he'll do anything to get elected, including throw homosexuals and LGBT people under the bus to get there. He will appoint people who are going to reverse all the gains of Obama, including even possibly Supreme Court reverse same-sex marriage. Anything can be anything that's been, you know.
I mean, in his defense, and I don't defend Trump because I think he's an idiot, but he did say in his speech that he will protect the LGBT, and he said Q community. He said it multiple times. He didn't give specifics, which is why I wouldn't raise the eyebrow. But I mean, I mean. What's to be said? I mean, are we going to see that same type of...
You know what my mother told me when I was a kid? I had some unsuitable friends she thought were unsuitable. She said, if you hang around a certain crowd, you'll become like them. And Trump is hanging around a certain crowd. Pence, who is the architect of a law, of legislation that attempts to take away our rights. Just not Trump so bad. I think Trump's a knucklehead if anything else. But I think the people he surrounds himself with are homophobes, they're racist, and they're going to take this country back. And that's what they want to go back to the 50s, where the Ozzie and Harriet days, where black people and were here, they were here to have menial jobs. There were no Latinos. That women worked at home and they were housewives, and men had the good jobs, and white men had the good jobs and they brought home the bacon. Those days are gone. We have those days are long gone, and we cannot go back. We shouldn't go back. We have to go forward.
We've got to go forward, and so Hillary Clinton's the girl to do it. Now, how do beyond winning? I mean, obviously Hillary Clinton's just one step. You've also got to win back the United States Senate.
Yes, definitely.
Do Democrats do it, and how do they do it?
We have to have Howard Dean left us with a 50-state strategy, and I think that we have to revive that and start winning up and down the ticket. We have to start, dog catcher and Duluth. If it's an office, we need to get a Democrat there and build our bench, so we can move people up the ladder. And the party.
And then part of that is, so does that mean how do we expand the 50-state strategy, right? We saw that sort of go by the wayside for some time. How do we bring that strategy back, and
Resources. We need to put money into it. It's about hiring people who are doing grassroots organizing in those states and building the base up. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. That kind of went by the wayside because we had Obama for America and DNC, and they were both kind of taking the funds. We need to put all the money back into the party. Hillary Clinton's going to build up the party because she's a party person.
And she's already started doing that,
right.
to be frank.
To be very honest, yes.
So how does she continue to do that?
She has to win.
Okay.
And when she wins, that will solidify her hold over the party and appointing intelligent, forward-thinking millennials and people who get it and who understand millennials and who are smart, and to bring in veterans who can work with millennials to build a coalition so we can combine social networking and the things that millennials do well with old-fashioned knock-on-the-door grassroots organizing.
Old-fashioned knock-on-the-door grassroots organizing. Obviously, that's part of her strategy. Obviously, that's part of the Democratic Party strategies that go into November. What else do folks at home need to know?
We need to use the technology that's available to reach out to populations that normally aren't reached through knocking on doors.
And how do we do that?
We have to do using social media, bringing people who understand social media, developing issues that really meet the needs of like millennials and younger people, like tuition debt, the job market, finance. Millennials are having difficulty getting money to buy a house because they're spending all their money paying back their student loans. We need to address those issues to invest the millennials back into our party.
And putting millennials back in the party, getting back to the work of the party. You will be out on the campaign trail.
Yes.
How can folks get in contact with you and learn more about what you do for the caucus?
You can contact me by jrfowlkes@aol.com. I'm the last one to have AOL. jrfowlkes@aol.com. And I will contact you back, and then you ask me a question, and I'll try to find the answer for you.
We'll find the answer for you, folks. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere.